How's it, guys? Second video of the channel. Let's try this again. Forgive any mistakes I make. Obviously, I'm doing this live and pretty new to it. But yeah, Modern Horizons 3 again today. See what we get this time. That last pack is pretty insane. I mean, Fetch Land and an Ula Lake in one pack. Pretty crazy stuff. Alright. So we've got Horrific Assault. 1 green mana. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target... What? You to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. If you control Eldrazi, you gain 3 life. So, I mean, yeah, this is a typical mono green, deal damage, fight, etc. kind of spell. Obviously, it's going with Eldrazi. I would imagine Simic Eldrazi in a draft. Unfortunately, it's sorcery speed, but decent way to kill a creature and get some life back. So, helps all that ramping. Wing It, 1 and a white, instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Put a flying counter on it, scry 1. I love these new kind of counters we're getting with Scry and Menace and all those kind of things. The nice thing about it being a counter is you can use effects that copy it, or you can also use effects like, not Mask of Nexus, but whatever that land's called, where you can tap it and, move a counter from one thing to another. I love it. Really, really cool stuff. Void Pouncer, 1 and a red, an Eldrazi creature. It's devoid, so it counts as colorless. You can kick it for 2 and a colorless, so basically 3 colorless mana. If Void Pouncer was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters and a trample counter. Oh, nice. You're getting more of these counters on here. And it's got haste. Okay, cool. So either it's a 2 mana 3/1, not bad as it is. But if you want to kick it, making it a 5/3 with haste and trample, not bad either. Sage of the Unknowable, 1 and a blue, creature, human, wizard. It's a 0/4. Tap, add colorless, spend this mana only to cast a colorless spell or activate an ability. So, I mean, activating ability is similar to Power Stones, I guess, in this case. But the colorless really goes well with all these Eldrazi in the Modern Horizons 3 draft. So, pretty cool stuff. Gravedigg, nice. Hey, and it's got the guy from Gravedigg on it. This is a sick art. So, 1 and a black, sorcery, choose 1. Target player creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I like that it's target, because, you can do some bargaining around the table in Commander, etc. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, entwine for 2. So you can pay the entwine cost and you get both. So in other words, for 3 colorless and 1 black, you get to do both things. I do like the idea of a 2 mana modal spell. I would assume normally what people would probably be using this for is early game, 2 mana, 2/2 on the board, blocking, etc. And black, so maybe you want some sack fodder. Otherwise, late in the game, 2 mana to get back like your best bomb from the graveyard. Also pretty decent. Hey, everyone's favorite Brushwag. Temperamental Brushwag, 3 and a green. Creature, Ooze Brushwag. Oh, it's an Ooze as well. That's pretty nice for that Ooze deck I mentioned. 2 colorless and a green to adapt to, which means if it has no counters on it, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters. Modify creatures you control have trample. So, I mean, that's not bad, basically. 4 mana, 4/4 as is. Pretty on curve for stats. Paying 3 extra to adapt it and make it a 6/6 and then give it trample is pretty good too. And I mean, just, Simic nonsense, having +1 counters, etc. And the Eldrazi in this particular draft set, giving it things trample is pretty good. Contaminated Landscape is a colorless land. We can also so it's a semi-fetch land, same as the one in the previous pack that we did. It's also cycling. These cycling lands are not bad. Ooh, very nice. Break of Creation, 6 and 2 colorless. It's a creature Eldrazi, 8/4. When you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each colorless permanent you control. And by the way, the guys, that does include clues, treasures, lands as well, I believe are colorless. I'll need to double check that one. Hexproof from each color. That is amazing on its own. And Annihilator too. So this beast of a card, if you can get it out, obviously very high mana cost, but worth the ramp. 8 mana, when it attacks, whenever this creature attacks, defending player sacrifices 2 permanents. That includes lands. So if you can board wipe and then get this card and attack, not bad at all. Hexproof, which means it's pretty much indestructible, because who the hell is going to be able to get rid of this thing? And then, yes, obviously as well, when you cast it, you gain life. So later on in the game, if you've been ramping and trying to get to this thing, especially in draft, that life is going to matter. Cool. 1 black mana, 1/1, Ethereum, Terramander. Artifact creature, Salamander Drake. Flying. Ethereum Terramana can block only creatures with flying. Okay. For 7 mana, so 6 and a black, adapt 4. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each artifact you control. That is not bad either. I mean, this is technically, at best, a 2 mana 5/5 with flying. So 2 mana 5/5 with flying, I'm down for it. Nice, another double-sided one to land. Hydroelectric Specimen, 2 and a blue. Creature weird, 1/4, flash. When Hydroelectric Specimen enters the battlefield, you may change the target of target instant or sorcery spell with a single target to Hydroelectric Specimen. This is great when you're playing against guys that like to buff their own creatures, especially combat tricks and stuff. And now with Fire Bending out, this was filmed around the time Avatar came out, just so people know. People love to play combat tricks and give things first strike, etc., etc. So flashing this bad boy in after first strike, using it as a blocker, you can really swing the battle with that one, which is really nice. And on the back, we've got Hydroelectric Laboratory. And you can kind of see this thing's obviously the escaped version of that swirling over there. You can see it a bit better there. There we go. Cool. As Hydroelectric Laboratory enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it comes in tapped. So a lot of these double-sided lands have that effect where you pay 3 life to bring it in untapped. Nice for Commander, not so great in Drafted and Limited or, even Modern, I guess, because it's difficult to get that 3 life sometimes. Priest of Titania, 1 and a green. Creature Elf Druid, tap, add 1 for each elf on the battlefield. This is a freaking amazing card. I love this card. It's not a new card at all, but, paying 1 for each elf when you play an elf deck and you got a billion 1/1 elf tokens, pretty freaking cool. Hey, we got a Flare. That is amazing as well. Flare of Fortitude, 2 white. You may sacrifice a non-token white creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Until end of turn, your life total can't change and permanent you control gain hexproof and indestructible. Fantastic card in a token deck. Soldier tokens, human tokens, whatever you might want to play. Mono white, Azorius, whatever your pick is. This is a great card. It's almost as good as Teferi's Protection, possibly even better depending on the circumstance. I love this card. Ooh, and a nice foil. There we go. Woohoo, foil. Dream Drinker Vampire, 1 and a black, lifelink. 1 and a black, adapt 1. So it's a 2/1 that can become a 3/2. Whenever 1 or more +1% counters are put on Dream Drinker Vampire, it gains menace until end of turn. So this is a nasty limited card. Not so great anywhere else. I mean, you can put it in Edgar deck up, I guess. But yeah, giving something menace is pretty nasty. Hey, and we got a nice foil island. Pretty sick. And we got a snake token with Death Touch. And yeah, some chaff on the back. Pretty cool.